I can now turn to what really is the most important part of the hypnotic process, and that's pre-talk. In many cases, the pre-talk, the suggestions, processes, and experiences that precede a formal induction are really the mechanism for change. So that by the time we get to the formal process of hypnotherapy, what we're really doing is ratifying a change that's already taken place. The pre-talk is so important that without a good pre-talk, any success in hypnosis will be limited. I spent a lot of time on this issue because by mastering the pre-talk, the hard part is done. And you can easily bring someone into deep trance, comfortable that they trust you to guide them through the process, and comfortable that you have the expertise necessary to guide them through the process. The pre-talk begins as soon as they walk in the door. This is when rapport begins. This is when first impressions and judgments are made. Those are often made in seconds. And we want the client to really do three things. We want them to trust us, perceive us as a professional, and feel like we actually care about them. I'm going to deviate for just a moment. I'm wearing a suit and tie here. And in my office, I normally don't wear a suit and tie. That's overly formal for my clients. But I often actually wear this suit and a dark blue shirt with no tie, open collar. I almost always wear slacks and a jacket, open collar, but a button-down shirt with a pocket on the front. I almost always wear not white sweat socks, but dress-up socks and a pair of professional shoes. I think it really is important to dress for success. And so I think that it is important to recognize that even though you're working for yourself and it'd be great to show up in jeans and a t-shirt, our clients have an expectation that the uniform of a professional is going to be along the lines of something that I described. Now, again, you can choose to wear anything you want to, but realize that judgments are made within seconds. And even though in working for yourself you have the opportunity to be a little less formal, I often do not take that opportunity, choosing instead to wear what really is the uniform of the professional in our society. Whether it's fair or not that that's the uniform, that's what it is, and so that's how I dress. The uniform for a professor is a tie. So when I teach, I almost always wear a tie. And the uniform for a dad is a Union High School band shirt and a pair of Levi's, and so that's what I almost always wear when I'm in that role. Now, the pre-talk specifically accomplishes certain things. It facilitates rapport. It opens up an exchange of ideas and solutions and creates an emotional connection. It also educates the client about the process of hypnosis. Hey, here's what hypnosis is going to be like. In a few minutes, when we're done with the paperwork and these other things, we're going to move over here to the comfortable furniture. And when you move over to the comfortable furniture, that's when we're going to do the formal process of hypnosis. And hypnosis is going to be like, and describe it for them. It's going to be a state that utilizes your creativity, a state that's natural. You'll never be asleep. It's going to be a state where you're comfortable. The pre-talk also ratifies the belief that hypnosis is the solution. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you a demonstration of me guiding a person through the pre-talk. And notice that throughout this process, I give the suggestion that hypnosis is a solution to her problems. The pre-talk also helps me overcome any objection to staying stuck. I've heard many clients will throw out their objections to me during the pre-talk. Well, I'm ready for our session, I'm ready to do this, but am I going to be able to handle withdrawal, or will I be able to do this without experience withdrawal? Am I going to be able to quit smoking without gaining weight? These are all, again, objections to staying stuck. What the pre-talk does is it really tries to seek their motivation for change. The pre-talk also helps them to experientially experience hypnosis, and I do that with my clients by using convincers. Convincers is the word that we use in hypnosis for brief examples of hypnosis. that we use to educate clients about the hypnotic process. For example, in the first DVD, I used a lemon. I said, close your eyes and imagine a lemon. Imagine slicing open that lemon. That's a convincer. It lets you, without going through a formal hypnotic process, experience what hypnosis is like. When I had you close your eyes and think of your wallpaper when you were 6 years of age, that's really a convincer, because it's a great way for me to show my client how the subconscious mind works. And the lemon exercise that I did with you in the first video is actually one of my favorites. It lets them know that physical responses in the body and change can occur because of thought. In this section of the DVD, I'm going to share with you several different convincers. These are the demonstrations of hypnosis without doing formal induction. These are also great to learn, by the way, because in addition to helping you explain hypnosis in a session, when people in a classroom or people in public or your family asks you to hypnotize them, in public settings you can often use convincers as a way of helping people to understand what hypnosis is like. Some of the convincers that I teach you I use on a regular basis. Some of the convincers that I'm going to teach you here I use less often in clinical hypnosis, but I think it's very good to have a repertoire of convincers. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about each convincer, then I'm going to show you a demonstration of me using this with a client. And then your assignment, in order to really maximize your participation in this course, is to find somebody you can practice on. So when I do the lemon drop or the lemon convincer here in a few minutes again, showing you how I actually do it in the office, don't just watch it, but stop the video and find somebody who you can practice this with. This is what will give you the confidence to actually do hypnosis. Now, in addition to convincers, there are several steps in the pre-talk that I'm going to go through. And the first is I'm going to welcome them to my office. My clients come through a door, and I'm usually sitting at my desk. I can actually see them coming, sort of, or hear the clip-clop of their feet, so I know when they're there. And I get up, I stand up, I greet them at the door, and I shake their hand. I make eye contact. And if you look at your notes here, you'll see a complete outline for a pre-talk. And when I show you the video, it's 19 minutes long here of me demonstrating the pre-talk. Use that outline and actually follow along, and you can see that I incorporate every one of these components into the basic pre-talk, beginning with the welcome. I direct my client to the seat that I want them to take. I give them water. If I don't remember to give it to them right away, I give it to them at some point during the session. I keep in my office a mini fridge, and I fill it with bottles of water. Every client who comes in the door, I give them a bottle of water. Sometimes the person's mouth can become dry when they're talking or when they're doing hypnosis, or they'll get a tickle in the throat or a cough, especially my smokers. And if at any time during the session they begin to cough or they begin to have that tickle in the throat, clearing the throat, it can reorient them and pop them out of a state of deep relaxation. They're concerned about it. And so I like them to have a bottle of water in their sessions, so that if that happens, I can simply say to them, I gave you a bottle of water earlier. It's sitting on the table to your left. And go ahead and have a sip of water. And when you set the water back down, let it be your cue to close the eyes again, deeply relaxing. Now, in the pre-talk, I want to find out what their experience is with hypnosis. Have they ever been hypnotized before? And if somebody says yes, well, great. I love to work with people who know how to use hypnosis. Sometimes clients say, no, you know, I saw your advertisement or your billboard or heard your radio ad, and I'm kind of surprised I'm here, but I was willing to try it. And then I say to them, great, I love to work with people who are learning for the first time how to use hypnosis. They may have had an experience with clinical hypnosis in the past, seeing another therapist, or with stage hypnosis where they participated in a grad night or a county fair or even Las Vegas or a comedy club. Maybe they had a friend or relative who'd been hypnotized before. Those folks are great to work with because they come here with the assumption that this is going to be effective because it was for their friend or relative. It becomes a self-fulfilling suggestion. Sometimes my client has experience with simply hypnosis CDs or meditation, or they have no experience whatsoever. Either way is fine, but I want to know that, and that's part of the pre-talk, and it facilitates rapport. I'm asking them questions, they're giving me answers, and we have this feedback going on back and forth. Now, I also ask every one of my clients, how did you hear about me? This lets me know if my marketing, my advertising, and those sorts of things are working. But it also lets me know if a trusted referral source has sent them, or if another client has sent them. And again, if that's the case, my clients are already in a mindset of success because the trusted referral source sent them, or another client who was successful sent them. During the pre-talk, I also evaluate their goals. What do they want to accomplish? What do they want to change? Why do they feel an urgency to change? Why today? And then, of course, part of the assessment process here in the pre-talk, are they willing to do the work? I almost always ask my smokers 2 questions. Number 1, how motivated are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to quit? They'll say a 9 or a 10 or an 11. And then I'll say, now this is different than motivation, how ready are you to quit smoking? Even if they said a 10 on how motivated, they'll say a 4 on ready. Sometimes they'll say a 10 on ready, and I'll say fantastic. They'll say a 10 on ready, I already gave away my carton of cigarettes and smoked my last cigarette. So we get a variety of answers, but this helps me to build rapport and really be able to tailor things to help them be successful. In my pre-talk, I'm also going to ask about their prior attempts at change. What other therapies have they tried? What other methods have they tried? What do they not want to repeat? And what worked for them? Now, my theory is that many people see a hypnotist because they don't want to see a therapist. In my advertising and my marketing, I represent myself as Richard Nongard, a professional hypnotist. The reason why is I don't want to be a hypnotherapist. Clients have a perception that therapy takes forever and it's slow, and therapy is about revealing deep, dark secrets and coming to terms with the past, and they don't want to do it. That's why they're calling a hypnotist. And so I call myself a professional hypnotist because I find they often don't want to repeat the past experiences they've had with traditional therapy. Now, in my assessment and in my pre-talk, I'm going to use constant positive reinforcement. When you watch the pre-talk demonstration here in a minute, notice how I assure the client that she's made the right choice. Notice how I assure her that she will do well. Statistics, by the way, can even come in handy, some of those that I read earlier. Now, this is where we really begin to understand hypnosis. Hypnosis isn't just about close your eyes and what happens then. It's about me giving suggestions at the very beginning. And so when I give them the suggestion during the pre-talk that they made the right choice, and the suggestion that they're going to be one of the successful folks who's able to make a change, they act then on those suggestions. And so the process of hypnosis, if you're going to refer to hypnosis as suggestion, really begins at the very beginning of any session. I also let my clients during the pre-talk know that 4 things are going to be present here. 1, that when we're done, they're going to feel better. That again is another suggestion because my clients often don't feel good when they come into my office. I also tell them and assure them hypnosis can help them, that they'll always remain fully in control, that they can follow my suggestions or they can choose to stay stuck. And I let them know also, number 4, that I'm not going to have them reveal any personal information. I let them know this is not therapy. You don't have to tell me your whole past history. You can tell me what you think is important, and I'm willing to listen to you. But hypnosis is not about understanding the past. It's about changing today. And so I'm not going to ask a lot of personal information, and certainly this is not stage hypnosis. And so under no circumstances am I going to ask you to do anything inappropriate or humiliating. Like I said, this is not Las Vegas. This is a clinical hypnotherapy session.